Hello and welcome to the Masters of Mayhem Kickstarter. I'm sure you're wondering how to play the game, and so here you are. Let's get out the game. It says Greater Good because this is an earlier version of the game. The newer one says Masters of Mayhem. So let's open up right now for you guys. So what we have here first is our 39 different tiles. They're not all different, but they have 7 different types of tiles within the stack. Let me just put these down right here. Next we have our cards. This is the beta test pack. This has 120 different cards in it. There may be more, but we're going to stick with the 75 for you guys. Okay, drum roll for the next thing is right here we got our little tiles. We have 42 different tiles right here. These are for saving your card's place on the board if you have, let's say, a kaiju that's roaming around. You don't want a card on there messing up everything up. So we have little tiles to do that for you. Here we have our 6-sided die, and we also have our rule book right here for you guys to learn how to play the game. And 120 meeples. So once you sorted everything out, you'll have 6 different colors to choose from. You can be black, white, green, blue, yellow, or red for those colorblind folks out there. So now we set up the game. Once you've chosen your color, you need to go through the tiles deck and look for 6 city tiles, or however many players you have, and give each player one of these city tiles. Now you need to grab the deck of destruction cards and deal 3 cards out to each player. Once you've dealt out all 3 cards, you're almost ready to go. Now each player takes their tiles and puts them all adjacent to each other. Doesn't matter how, they just have to be connected. In Masters of Mayhem, each meeple represents 1,000 people. So what you need to do is now put 5,000 people on your own city. I'm going to skip this ahead for you guys. So once everyone's situated, you all have to roll dice to find out who goes first. Now it's time to play. Your goal is to eliminate every other player on the board using your destruction cards. Whoever rolled highest gets to go first. Since I rolled highest, I get to take my first turn. On my turn, I can either play a card or skip my turn. I'm using Population Boom, which increases my population by 2,000 people on a single tile. Once I've either played a card or skipped my turn, it's the next person's turn. They can either play a card or skip their turn as well, and once everyone's had a turn, the round is over, and a new round begins. At the beginning of a new round, every player gets 1 destruction card, 1,000 more people on every city they inhabit, and every player gets 1 new tile. When you get your tile, you can place it down immediately. You have to place it adjacent to another tile and in a space that's not occupied. If you put down a city tile, it starts with 2,000 of your own people on it. Now that all of this is done, a new round starts. Whoever went first last round starts off this round, and once they've had a turn, the next person goes, and then the next person, until everyone's had a turn, and then this round's over, and a new round starts. Gameplay continues until there is one Master of Mayhem. Now that you know how to play the game, I'm going to show you some of the tiles and some of the minor rules in the game. This is a city tile. Each round, if your people are on it, they increase by 1,000. Also, if you pull it from the deck, it starts with 2,000 of your people on it. This is a volcano. It acts the same as a mountain tile, being that you cannot move your people here under any circumstances. If someone has an eruption card, it can go off and kill everyone around it. This is a lake city. It's virtually identical to a city tile, except for the fact that certain cards may affect it. This is a water tile. If your people move here, they die. But if you put a bridge on top of it, they can jump over it if they use an evacuation. This is a forest tile. Your people can safely move here, but at the beginning of a new round, their population on that tile does not increase. This is a mountain tile. People cannot move here under any circumstances, and it acts as a border. This is a radioactive waste tile. Any tile that's around it cannot repopulate at the beginning of a new round. Also, if your people are physically on the tile, then they lose 1,000 people at the beginning of a new round instead of gaining 1,000. Now that we have the tiles out of the way, let me introduce you to a few small rules. If your card's icon is blue, it's considered a defense card. Defense cards are beneficial for either you or other players. If your card's icon is red, it's a disaster card. Disaster cards are intended to hurt other players. See this little red skull at the bottom of this card? That means you're not allowed to use that card within the first 3 rounds of the game. Anything after that is open season. In Masters of Mayhem, your colors are not allowed to mix, as in red cannot move onto a yellow tile, or yellow cannot move onto a red tile, or any other color. This makes the game a lot easier to play. If you're wondering, can I move my people from one tile to another? You can by using these cards. Evacuations allow you to roll a die and move that many people from one tile to an adjacent tile. Plane rides let you move up to 2,000 people from one tile to any open spot on the board. Boats allow you to move up to 3,000 people by water. Water means either the open space on the side of the map, or an actual water tile. Wormholes allow you to take 2 tiles and switch everything on top of those tiles. Terraforming allows you to take 2 tiles on the map and switch those tiles along with everything on top of them. If you use a card that destroys a tile in this game, that tile is permanently out and you just throw it in a discard pile. If you're like me and die a lot, then we have a rule just for you. If someone attempts to kill you within the first 3 rounds, you cannot go below 1,000 people on the board. And if someone was to use a card that would destroy the tile your last people were on, you would be left at 1,000 people and the tile would not be destroyed. Of course, if someone tries to destroy you after the first 3 rounds, you're dead. Oh crap, I almost forgot. There are also a few cards in the game that take place over turns. For example, the Kaiju. The Kaiju starts on a water tile and goes 1 tile per turn to the nearest population and kills 1,000 people per turn once on that tile. Ends once 4,000 have died. An easy way to keep track of cards like this that move around is by using our little tiles that come with the game. When a card says something happens each turn, here's what it means. Cards take turns in between turns. For example, I go, place the Kaiju card, the Kaiju eats 1,000 people, and then it's the next person's turn. Then the next person finishes their turn, and the Kaiju eats another 1,000 people. Then it's the next person's turn after that, and then they finish their turn, and then the Kaiju eats another 1,000 people. So those are all the rules and regulations of Masters of Mayhem. If one of your questions wasn't answered here, feel free to post a comment on the Kickstarter page, and I'll get to you shortly. Hopefully you understand the game better now, and maybe you want to buy it.